So I'm going to go over the positives and negatives of the major social media sites that you can get on. Okay, so for OnlyFans Twitter promotion, the positives. It has a very active content creator community. It has legitimate promotions available because most OnlyFans promo accounts have been created from scratch by creators or supporters of creators. It has a constant new supply of OnlyFans creators and subscribers signing up to Twitter. And Twitter is friendly to OnlyFans and not safe for work content, as long as it is made as marked that way. So if you don't mark it and you don't say, okay, this is not safe for work content, then could be a problem. And then it has a low amount of fake profiles compared to other social channels. Twitter is always and actively purging fake accounts or bad characters from the platform. So you want to, look at Twitter, and I've always looked at Twitter as a positive, net positive, one of the friendliest as far as OnlyFans promotion. But there are negatives. So the negatives: Twitter's policing of bad OnlyFans promos, like Let's Discover Me, is lax, even when accounts are reported. So, as we've talked about in the podcast before, bad promotions, and it's very difficult to get these promotions removed, even if they're doing nefarious things. Creators cannot promote via promoted tweets, limiting the ability to grow quickly. So, as you know, if you're running a not safe for work account, or most accounts are promoting OnlyFans, you cannot buy promoted tweets. And then there's also a tendency for very popular OnlyFans creators to only retweet other large creator accounts. So basically that keeps newer creators at a disadvantage to be seen. So for a lot of people, if you ever looked at people who are over 100,000 followers, they seem to mostly retweet other people who are, 90,000, 100,000, 200,000. It's very rare for them to tweet out people or retweet out people who aren't. And that could be from retweet groups. That could just be from common knowledge that they hope that if they retweet a big creator that they'll retweet them back. But it does limit the exposure that you can get on Twitter. Okay, so Instagram OnlyFans promotion, the positives. Has a large audience of over 1 billion accounts, making it the second largest social network in the world. It's a picture-based platform that lends itself to visually being able to be seen if you create great photos. So obviously, OnlyFans is a visual medium, and so is Instagram. So people who are going to see those pictures are more likely to, perhaps jump over because they are similar type platforms. And the negatives. Most studies estimate that 45 to 50% of all Instagram accounts are fake. That's just a fact that everyone knows. Even when Instagram attempts purges, it's just too easy to make an Instagram account. And I mean, that's part of how they grew so fast. But go ahead and try it. You have an account right now on Instagram, just hit create another account and see how easy it is to just create another account. So, although they want to make it very easy for people to get on there, that can lend itself to, accounts that have 100,000 people. And you're like, is this really 100,000 followers at all? Is this five followers and, a ton of, fake or old dead accounts that aren't purged? And then another negative is it has a large amounts of Instagram accounts from countries that are highly unlikely to subscribe to OnlyFans pages, but will still like the content. And then there's also rampant promotion fraud from several accounts based in Asia that either claim to be able to promote on high follower accounts or use accounts with millions of fake followers to claim high levels of exposure for OnlyFans creators. So, you're looking at accounts just nonstop. And some of this can start on Twitter. I will say that it just seems a little hard. Like, I personally get a ton of, hey, would you like to promote your OnlyFans daily on Twitter? But the accounts all have 1 follower, 2 followers. They just got created. It's just not the same level. You can easily spot the fraud or the issues that someone on Twitter has and go, well, they don't have any engagement, they don't have retweets. See, it's really easy on Twitter to see that someone isn't legitimate because you can see the engagement right in front of you. There's either followers that people are posting, they're commenting, they're retweeting, they're liking, or they're not. For Instagram, as I've gone over in other episodes, there's ways to mask by throwing up videos where you don't see the likes. There's ways to mask, whether or not you actually have an engagement, and plus people when they see 1 million followers. So if someone, sends you a DM from one of those accounts and he has 1 million followers, you kind of lose your sense. You go, oh wow, 1 million followers. So if that happens on Twitter, most of the time you can see, again, because there's a natural attrition to followers on Twitter too. If you had 1 million followers and you just stopped tweeting, you're going to start losing some of those followers because Twitter, is constantly, taking accounts out. And that just doesn't happen on Instagram. So it's harder to see that the promotion is, unethical. And then generally, Instagram for its lifetime has been pretty unfriendly to OnlyFans creators, with many OnlyFans hashtags being banned, and with most people using link sites instead of their OnlyFans link due to unfriendly attitudes towards not safe for work sites. So if you've listened long enough to this podcast, you know my opinion of Instagram. So there you go. So next is Reddit. Reddit OnlyFans promotion. The positives. Reddit has a ton of subreddits devoted to OnlyFans creators and different niches. Example, inked, busty, petite, etc. So there's always going to be a place for you to post your images for free promotion. So that's great. And there's even ones that aren't having to do with OnlyFans. They're still friendly to you posting on those subreddits. And then Reddit allows for you to have your own profile, or you can pin your OnlyFans link to the top of your profile via a link. So that's great. So if someone does want to follow you to your profile, they can immediately see your OnlyFans link as a hyperlink and they can click directly to it. So there's no masking, there's no need to create a link tree. You can just see, oh, okay, yes, I want to go to someone's OnlyFans page. And then Reddit is typically friendly to OnlyFans, and many creators are on the platform both promoting and giving tips of the trade. So it's good that both you can interact, because Reddit at its core is a community site. So it's great both for promotion and for learning. So you can learn how to market better, or tips and tricks, how to use the site better, all those things. All right, so the negatives. Mods or moderators control subreddits with a sometimes iron fist. So each subreddit has different rules, which make it hard to plan a cohesive marketing plan. So, if you're basically trying to promote on a whole different bunch of subreddits, it's hard to say, okay, well, I'm just going to formulate this advertising campaign, because you're having to adjust to the differences of each different subreddit. So some subreddits actively ban OnlyFans links, profiles with OnlyFans links, or creators who have profiles with OnlyFans links. And Reddit is notorious for being slow and hard to navigate at times. I mean, I'll tell you, even with the app that I have, I rarely ever see any errors straight up on Twitter or Instagram, but I constantly just where Reddit just stops, doesn't want to work, is moody that day, doesn't send things out. It's just can be a kind of a moody kind of platform that you just don't get. Like if Twitter was the same as Reddit, it would be very hard to run the promotions that I run, because I would constantly be having to reload the app, or it would take forever. So it can be very difficult to use sometimes. And then next, there's no way for anyone to run actual preferred promotion, on the platform. Upvotes control exposure, which is typically dominated by a few exceptionally attractive or skilled creators. And upvotes are also sometimes manipulated. So there's no way to say, okay, I'm going to get in front of a certain number of people today, or I'm going to be at the top of this subreddit and a whole bunch of people are going to see me. You can post and no one could see it. You could post 20 times and no one could see it. And the 21st time, a whole ton of people see it. So it's kind of like, okay, hit and miss, which makes it hard to say, okay, how this promotion go, or you just don't know how it's going to go. Where something like Twitter, okay, this page has a number of impressions. I'm going to get a certain number of impressions going to be seen no matter what if I do promos on Twitter. And then lastly, auto posters are common on Reddit now in the not safe for work space due to companies like FanCharm, which I've mentioned in my blog and on the podcast, which encourage subreddit auto spamming and DMing techniques. So at this point, you have a lot of auto posting, and probably it's only going to get worse, which makes it harder for people who are manually submitting themselves correctly to be seen, because you might, do, one post that's correct, and now you've got somebody who's doing automation and they shoot out 10 posts, and it's like, oh, okay, well, and how is the person supposed to react to that who wants to look at something? They're seeing too much happening in the subreddit, and maybe they just decide, okay, well, I'll subscribe to another subreddit. Okay, so TikTok OnlyFans promotion. The positives is a huge audience that is highly engaged with short videos daily, a large amounts of engagement, even for niche video content, and the time on site is huge. With Android users spending 13.3 hours on TikTok a month on average. So if you're on TikTok, if you use TikTok, you really use TikTok. You're on there a lot. The negatives is TikTok is an all ages type of platform, meaning it discourages any videos it deems to be erotic or promoting adult activities. And since the majority of OnlyFans creators are 18 plus, and that's the purpose most of the time of the site, TikTok has made it difficult to promote at all. And honestly, OnlyFans link in a profile is banned, for TikTok, but TikTok also just generally doesn't want anyone promoting other sites on TikTok through content. It does not want you to leave TikTok. That's how people are spending 13.3 hours on TikTok, because unlike Twitter, unlike Reddit, unlike a lot of other sites, you can't get out. They don't want you getting out. Like, they want you to stay inside and enjoy their content. So it's not that they're just prejudiced against OnlyFans, which they, are in their own way, but they don't want people leaving at all. So that makes it quite difficult. Okay, so those were the positives there. So you definitely, in setting up your social media accounts, you need to keep all of that in mind. And then step 4, you want to create and edit your pictures and videos. Now, we did an entire episode on creating better pictures. So feel free to check that episode out. It's also lined in step 4 on the blog article. So we just talk about beware of, phone camera settings, setting your resolution high, using, video editors. But the article goes all over that. And as I mentioned, we've also done a whole podcast on step 4 before. So check that one out. And then step 5, find your best social channel. All right, so this is how I feel you should look at finding your best social channel. There are a lot of these, so I'm going to read them out. You want to evaluate your own strengths as a creator. There are 3 core strengths, visual, verbal, written. There are 3 core types of social channels, video channels, example, YouTube, TikTok, community, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and verbal, like Clubhouse. Now, these new verbal ones aren't necessarily as popular, but you could also add podcasting or anything where basically you're talking. Now, you need to match your best skill set with the social channel that matches with your skill sets. So once you have picked that skill set, that you need to create your profile or double down your current engagement on the social channel that you're using. So if you do that evaluation and you're like, oh, I'm on the right social channel, then you might want to go ahead and double down, on that. And that's where you want to begin to look at yourself as an influencer and content creator on that platform. You're not just someone advertising an OnlyFans page. You're someone who is now going to add benefit to that channel. You want to set the pace on that channel by creating engaging videos, starting discussions, and providing value to those who are on that social.